Record for us here, but let's change this up. Maybe I will keep us on speaker view. Awesome. How was your weekend? Give me a thumbs up. Some thumbs down. Okay, that's cool too. Yeah. I think one thing that's been really video disasters, Terry. Okay, let's talk about it. You can bring it up, and we'll jump in on that for sure. I think one of the things that I've been finding really interesting is that this is like a wave. So as much as we've been talking full time, myself in some studios for the last, I don't know, like 10 days, maybe, let's say at this point, about this, and like really taking action for the last 5 to 7, which is felt like, honestly, like a year. Just so much has been going on. There's still a bunch of studios that are literally like, this is just hitting them now. It's just like starting now. So just if that's you, if you're just like, I'm behind the 8 ball, or it finally came down that we're shut down by the government or whatever else, like what the fuck, just, it's going to be good. You're going to make it. Everything's going to be cool. Breathe, and then jump on these webinars, and we'll help out as much as we can. So C6 Yoga says they launched the Zoom classes on Thursday and are rocking them. Yeah, boy, love it. Win story right there. Hey, I've got to tell you guys, you've been hearing me talk about this since the first meeting last week. This is forcing studios to take action on things that we probably wanted to, or even maybe should have been taking action on for the last couple of years, and we just like couldn't. We just didn't get to it. So the silver lining here is that you are getting a crash course for yourself on how to amp your business up in like totally different ways, and to build up the ability to pivot and do this sort of stuff. So, all right, 8:01, let's jump right in. I'm going to share my screen. I made a couple of slides for you just really quick, so you don't have to just stare at my face the entire time. Okay, so first off, let me just start with a little anecdotal story, because I think it's important for us. My family has been cooped up in voluntary isolation. We are in Mexico. For those of you who don't know, we're actually leaving back to Canada today. But Mexico is playing a very interesting political game because they have no social systems in place. So if they shut things down, no one can work, no one makes any money. So the actual public doesn't want them to close anything down, which is a problem. They are starting to take some action and close some things, but it's fascinating being here because it just means the seriousness of isolation is not being considered the same as maybe it is in other places in the world. The bottom line is our kids are, they view it like we're forcing them to stay at home because everyone else is out playing around. So my 4-year-old has been going bonkers in our small house, and she's also suddenly, like overnight, Lux, I think you're even on this call. I saw Mommy on there too. Overnight has discovered that fart jokes are the funniest thing on the friggin' planet. So I'll probably jump in with some weird 4-year-old fart jokes if we go here. I blame her. It's not my fault. So, all right. What are we talking about today? A couple win stories. Yeah, I think the biggest win story that I heard over the weekend is just people going from, I don't have a camera, my computer's old and doesn't have a camera on it, and how the heck does something like Dropbox work, or where do I upload my videos, to like having their first online Zoom, and to their surprise, not to mine really, because your community is going to support you, is then experiencing people showing up and having classes that are like, 20, 30, 40, 60, 70 big online and Zoom in real time. And I know Maria, I'm sure she'll jump on here too at some point. She's had a couple of her IHP classes be up in that 70, 80 range, and she's teaching from her attic. So just action is the word here, my friends. Action is what's really going to matter for sure. Okay, now there's been a couple of sort of thoughts going around in my head. A lot of people are really focused right now on, how do we actually get our classes launched? How do we make sure that we're communicating? What should we even do with our pricing? Those sorts of questions, which we've been addressing in these webinars, and we can address more as we go here, so that's no problem. I know we've got a couple comments on video disasters and stuff, so like we will jump in on those. But there's another thing that's sort of missing here, in my opinion, right now, and that is that we don't have a lot of new sales language going on. And I think that it's an underestimated important detail, because those of you who are in my private group, the Yogapreneur Collective, we talk about these concepts of marketing and sales all the time. If you run any business on the planet right now, this has to be on your radar. And I would say that as a yoga studio owner or a wellness business owner, for those of you who aren't just yoga studios, I know there's a few of you on the call, we suffer from the affliction of too much knowledge. So we understand our product and the value that it offers so intensely, so deeply, that we forget that other people might literally have no clue whatsoever. All right. So it just means that we might be surprisingly poor at communicating our value proposition to people so they really understand what it is that we're offering. Beyond that, it's realizing that marketing is an exercise in memorization, and that the way as an adult you memorize things is through repetition. The other detail here is, I made the statement in the beginning, this last week, I think for a lot of us, we can agree, the last 5 days, Monday to Friday last week, that felt like a friggin' year of time. Like there's so much going on so fast. So it's almost like our brains, because of the overload that we're experiencing, are experiencing time at a slower pace than normal. This is an extremely important detail, because if you're experiencing that, so is your clientele. The other thing is there's a portion of your clientele who, if they're not experiencing that from the level of stress of all the changes that are going on, might be experiencing it from the level of boredom if they're in isolation. In either case, that just means that if I haven't heard from you and you haven't said something positive or powerful to me, and like 3 days have gone by, that's a really long time right now. So the first and most important thing, especially I see a couple new faces and new names jumping on here, make sure you are communicating at a higher frequency than normal. Don't just send out random bullshit, okay? If you're worried about over communicating with people, here's my challenge to you. I'm being like quick and blunt with this stuff right now, my friends. My challenge is, if you're worried about sending me an email or putting something on your Facebook or your Instagram and I'm going to see too much stuff, then you're sending crap. So don't send crap and you won't ever worry about that. That's basically the way I would look at it. So make sure that there is some higher frequency. Now, what this is getting to though, is that there is an obvious change in your messaging. So I would say I would spend, an hour this afternoon or something, and I would rewrite your value proposition, and it will give you a starting point for you and your staff to have one focused communication that you're going to be giving to the public and to your clients over and over and over and over and over, because it has to like get into their brain, and that's going to happen through repetition. I would even go so far as to doing a quick video where you just say like, hey, in these crazy times, boom, and we say value proposition. I'm going to break down for you guys exactly what that looks like really quick here too. So the first major point when we're talking sales and marketing, understand what people actually purchase, because what they purchased from you last or week before last or a month ago is not the same thing they're purchasing from you right now. We've been saying this all along in these webinars. If you think right now that what people buy from you is a yoga class, you're wrong, my friend, and you've got to pivot really fast. They've never actually purchased a yoga class from you. Because if I just want to take a yoga class, if all I wanted to do was do some stretching postures, or if you're doing IHP, all I want to do is some planks, or if you're a fitness studio, all I want to do are some push-ups or some burpees, I can go on YouTube and do that for free in my living room. I've never needed to come to you to do those things, which just means the entire reason I've been coming to you in the first place is something bigger and deeper that still exists right now. The way you're going to leverage it has changed. So fundamentally, the understanding I want to point out is that there are only 3 things people buy. Transformation is number 1. It's usually transformation to a problem. The problem that you are transforming people around right now is subtly different than it was 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago, someone showed up and said, I want to lose weight, I want to gain flexibility, I want to de-stress. All of those things are still true but the way they are presented is different now because they're going to do it in their house watching you online or watching a video. So you've got to switch the language subtly so that it's hyper relevant to the time that we're in. I would also suggest that the type of transformation that people are looking for, there's less people that are thinking right now, you know what, today's the day I'm going to get in friggin' shape, because they also want to drink wine tonight to de-stress from the insanity of what's going on. But they are probably thinking, I want to be in the highest image of myself. I want to be a powerful parent. I want to make clear-headed, rational decisions with my money that's in the market, with whatever. So it's more of a stress transformation, a focused, a meditative, a centeredness element, especially that yoga sells itself on, that I would be focusing on. Number two, and this is maybe even we could put this as number one, is people buy community. We are social beasts. Even the most introverted people out there want to be part of something together. And you guys have experienced this. Use all of your experience from prior to this time in your yoga studio to help a deeper understanding. I bet right now, put your hand up if you have never experienced a client that comes into your studio. They come like 4 days a week. They sign in, they take class, and they never talk to you. They look kind of grumpy. Like they don't know your name, even though they know they're just like that client who just like comes in, does the class, and then they leave. But they come 5 days a week and you're like, I don't even think this person likes us. And then they buy an annual pass, right? So raised hands. So these people, this is a perfect example that they just don't want the forced social interaction. Maybe that's okay. We don't have to make them do that. The point though is that they're still coming to you and they still want to be part of the community. Those are also the people that are surprisingly good brand ambassadors. Right now at this moment in time, if you are in one of the states that's on total lockdown, people are lacking community. So you need to help create that for them. They have to be connected in some way, okay? And if you are not in total lockdown, I would just start working towards this connection of community. We've talked about a few different ways to do this, but the one that I want to highlight for right now is if you're using Zoom or something like that for a yoga class, think about what it would have been like in your studio prior to this moment. So for a lot of you as a traveling nomadic yogi, I'll go to a yoga studio and I get ready. I show up, 10 minutes before, I get ready. I'm bullshitting in the change room with some people. Then I'm sitting in the yoga room and I might be talking before class with them. And then after class, even if it's just small casual talk, like, oh, the weather, blah, 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 but I'm having conversation and interaction with other people. So right now, try to create some of those elements, whatever it would have been like. You want that familiarity to continue to exist right now with your online classes as well. So for example, I would make it part of your policy if you're running Zoom classes that you're going to let the Zoom meeting turn on 15 minutes before. And I would even go so far as get your teachers to, if possible, or at least yourself, that 15 minutes before, unmute yourself and just shoot the shit about something. Just talk about something normal so that people realize like, oh, there's this familiarity and there's some interaction that can still happen so that people don't feel so isolated. That will really be powerful for your community. And then as a quick reminder, of course, also we have things like a private Facebook group, sending people emails on the regular, having a social night through Zoom, having like a cocktail hour. Any of these ideas we've been talking about are really powerful as well. And then the final thing that people purchase is status. Status sounds egotistical. It's not, it's survival. So right now at this moment in time, when people are unnaturally forced into a sensation of being more survivalist, status could be a powerful tool for you to leverage. The way you're going to leverage status in the simplest way right now is to celebrate your community and to celebrate the success of any of your students. So it can be as simple as someone you've noticed has taken every online class you've done, ask them to jump on Zoom with you and do a live and just talk about, say like, I want to do like a live video blog post about how you're staying sane in these insane times. That's something like that, to that effect. Be like, holy cow, it's really awesome. I know you're getting your fitness in every day. What are some other things you're doing to stay healthy? And just let them talk and celebrate them. That person's going to have a lot of status. But the other thing about status, the reason why you would consider something like this is that status is leverage for other people to take action. So if I think, I see Patty and Wilson, yo guys, if Wilson has, because Wilson's my video editor, by the way, he's like the bomb, and Patty is the one who manages Wilson, so really we give her the credit. So if Patty gets all the street cred like I just gave her, because she is the one who's creating epic videos for me when I send her really crappy shots, her and Wilson, that is, I still appreciate you, buddy. Then, and I want to be a video editor, I like want to live up to the quality, like Wilson setting the bar, the status bar. So then I'm chasing him. That's the same thing in your community. If you highlight the successes of people, they become sort of like the aspirational identity for other members in your community. So then they want to do that too. So if we're talking about stopping cancellations, keeping people engaged, keeping people in your membership and feeling really happy to be part of it, when you celebrate somebody and you give them some status, you also set the bar that like, look, this is a mom with 4 kids who's made it like able to get on for just 30 minutes and do a little stretching with us and is staying healthy by making chicken soup every day. Somebody else who is just like home by themselves is like, heck yeah, dude, I can do that too. And now they have a bar set. So that's the 3 things that people are buying. So just keep these in mind. I would like write them down in your notes and then just ask yourself the question throughout the course of like 1 week of time, how is it that you're giving transformation? How is it that you're creating and or maintaining community? How are you celebrating and or creating some status as well? All right, so write a value proposition that is specific to right now. It won't take you a lot of time or effort to do this, but if you write a good one, it's just going to give you this centralized communication point, because what I've realized, a lot of people are coming in like, oh man, I want to know how to do this and that and whatever else. And then they're like putting up their Zoom meetings, they're getting their Fit Grid organized, they're getting all this stuff together, but what they're not doing is communicating it in a way that gets people excited about it. If you just tell me, hey, we've got an online yoga class, that's fine, but a lot of people are saying that right now. So if you have a better way to say that, it would be better. The idea here, so back to some fundamentals, purchasing decisions are always made emotionally first. All purchasing decisions. You are the same, I am the same. Anyone who thinks that they don't make emotional first decisions is lying to themselves. So you have to sort of pull on the emotional cord here, not in a like, woe is me or in anything weird way. Just realize that that's the level of communication. It has to be on the emotional side. Then it's backed up with rationale. The reason this is important is that one of the primary questions we're getting is, oh, I don't think our value is as good right now because we're only doing online classes and there's only 1 live online class per day. So I think I'm going to tell everyone that they get a deal. It's not that giving them a deal in itself is a problem, although in the previous meetings we've talked about why it can really be a problem for you. It's the fact that if you come at them first and say, hey, you guys, we understand it's a tough time and we understand that we're not giving you the same value as before, or you insinuate that, so here's a discount. That is a 100% rational conversation, my friends, and that's not how people make purchasing decisions. So I wouldn't do that up front. If you're going to offer a deal or talk about anything that's rationally based, what is the emotional conversation attached to it first? Figure out how to communicate on that level first. So attach on the emotional and then you back it up with the rational so that it all makes sense afterwards. So here's an example for value proposition. The easiest one I could find really quickly this morning is Uber. This is the 3 major points. Uber has an excellent value proposition. Once tap, a car comes directly to you. Your driver knows exactly where to go. Payment is completely cashless. That's their unique value proposition. It's absolutely clear when you read this what it is that happens, why it is that it's different, why it is that it's valuable, how it solves a problem for you, and that it's a clearly differentiable option. So there's a really simple, good one. Here's what needs to be in your updated value proposition. 1, who is it for? So by the end of it, you can write it however you want, but by the end of it, I need to know exactly who this value proposition is talking to. So this is where you have to understand your community like you guys do. And right now, you want to add in something that's hyper relevant and make sure that you're explaining how you're solving a customer's current problems and how you're improving their situation. So the problems that you would have primarily been talking about, again, 2 weeks ago, not the same as right now. This is why we have to update. Number two is quantify. Appease their rational mind and create clarity by delivering specific value. Quantify just means the rational side, but it's not price. It's like, practically speaking, what is it that we're going to do that helps you? What's the like really clear, obvious stuff? And then three is to differentiate. So highlight anything that's unique that you offer. The idea is to insinuate that they can only get this from you. They can't just go get this somewhere else. They have to be part of your community to really get this. And be sure that they understand why they should buy specifically from you. Final things in terms of actually creating it is you should have a headline, a sub-headline, couple sentences, and if possible, make it visual. So a video is a way to make it visual. Having a photo is a good way to make it visual, even just color. So just something that makes it visual. Yes, I do have an example. I know the question's coming. Here would be, I whipped this up in about 42 seconds during the 42 seconds before we logged on. So I'm sure we could improve this, but for our fake studio, Nomad Studio, I would say something like, now is the time to be your strongest. There's the headline. Being cooped up at home, managing your family, and mitigating the additional stressors of life right now can be a recipe for disaster. There's the problem that I'm stating I'm going to solve for. The most important thing you can do for yourself and your family is to stay physically, mentally, and emotionally healthy. Here's the emotional problem solving what we offer element. The good news is we've got your back. Now I'm making it about how I'm doing something for them. At Nomad Yoga, we're offering rational, simple stuff. Live virtual yoga classes daily. Live virtual meditation classes 3 times per week. A new library of yoga on demand videos and a community of other real people to connect with. Everything is included in your membership. From Nomadville family, from our Nomadville family to yours, much love and stay healthy. Now this exactly as it is, despite the fact that we could tweak it, probably make it a little bit more powerful, this would be a great video to put out. If you had this video and you put it on your COVID-19 page on your website or right on your homepage, emailed it out to people, blasted it on your social media, and then the big thing is absolutely indoctrinate this message into your staff. Because anytime your staff talks about you, you want them to say their version of something along these lines. Would be really powerful and is different than, hey, we have virtual classes. So changes the game a little bit and helps your community get more connected with you. All right, we're going to jump onto your questions here as well. Other topics, there have been, I'm going to talk about cancellations first. This keeps coming back up, but I think that people are like maybe missing a piece of the puzzle. So cancellations are something that you should be prepared for, and you shouldn't just give up if someone sends in a cancellation. So what I would suggest at this point is the normal expectations of policy and so on and so forth have gone completely out the window with the public. So I wouldn't be trying to enforce on your regular policies in the same way right now. What I would be doing is having prepared communications around cancellations, even trying to preempt it. And I would go the extra mile. And this is like, you want to be preemptive, but we're talking about when it actually comes in, because if like you guys in California right now that are on total lockdown, I think New York as well, like those of you guys are on total lockdown right now, this is going to take longer than you think to bounce back, even when the lockdown is lifted, because it's going to take people a minute to take action again. So you want to mitigate this as much as possible. And when I'm saying mitigate, we're not just talking about stopping someone from canceling right now at this moment, although we are. We're also talking about making sure that people remember how you dealt with the situation, so that when they're ready to come back, they're going to come back faster to you, and they're going to accept more contact from you moving forward, because they remember that you handled the situation professionally and powerfully and made it really seem like it was about them. So even when someone is canceling right now, make it seem like it's about them, the conversation, not about the cancellation. So if someone cancels, I would have your email prep to go out to them. I would text message them if you have an automated text messaging system is a good way, or even manually. I would even go so far as to phone them if you have that level of relationship with that specific individual, someone that's been with you for a while, whatever else. And then a couple of the things that we've been talking about in the past meetings as well with cancellations specifically is that you should have a downsell. So someone who doesn't cancel will come back on the back end of this faster. So have a downsell option, and if all else fails, have a pause option or a freeze option instead of a straight hard cancellation. That would be the basic recommendations. In terms of the communication, I think that this is a time for you to realize the unique element of running something like a fitness, but especially a yoga studio, is the human to human deeper level contact and conversation that you have. So this is one of those times where picking up the phone can go a really long way, or sending a personal one-off text message or email can go a really long way. It's a little different because normally we would say with cancellations, it's something we want to automate a little bit more because we're worried more about like closing the sale on the front end. Right now, closing new sales is more difficult because we don't have them coming in the same way. So saving a cancellation is just as good as getting a new sale. So just have some messaging for this. Now, the hyper personal one would be straight up. If, I see that Patty has canceled, then I send her a text, hey, Patty, I just got your cancellation notice. I'm just going to call you in 10 minutes. I just want to make sure that we get it all clean and clear for you. Is that cool? Yeah, sure. Ring her on the phone. Patty, I know that, you've been with the studio for like a couple of years now. We really want to make sure that you have access to all of the things that we're offering. You're like, how can I help you? This isn't about the cancellation to me. This is about your well-being. How can I help you? And then your email that would go out, something to that effect. Your email that would go out is going to say similar, and this is why the value proposition, you guys, is part of this. Similar to this, you could use this as a starting template. I would say like, hey, we're really sorry to see that you're canceling, but we totally get it because it's a crazy time right now. We are still on a mission to help you be your strongest now more than ever. Here's what we're doing to do that. Put your list back in there, virtual classes, meditation, boom, boom, boom. We do have a special sort of relief offer if it makes a difference for you. If you want, stay on the membership at half price, or if you want, respond yes, and we'll phone you and just figure out a membership that works the best for you so that you can maintain full access to all of this. And then you do it case by case. So it's not like a publicly advertised thing, but it's just getting like this little miniature funnel of communication that's probably going to include, text, phone, 1 or 2 emails in there to just talk to people. I think that we might, in a lot of cases, be surprised how much more people would be willing to have a conversation with us right now than they might have been a month ago, sort of thing as well. Okay, and then the final thing are video courses. So there's a lot of people doing the live stuff, and I know you've got a lot on your plate and have your own families, so I don't mean to like add more on. I'm just suggesting that we've been saying, there's this like silver lining here that you get to create this awesome content that you're gonna have for the future. I've been on a couple of classes myself and watched a couple of recordings of like some live video classes and Zoom classes, and they're really good and something that could be nested. What I was thinking though was that same class in a year from now is going to be less exciting for me to watch and take. Right now it's great, it's perfect, keep going. But the recording of it in a year from now is going to be valuable, but only a little bit. So I would just say that another way to increase your value that would be relatively simple, that we've been preaching everyone should be doing for the last 5 years anyways, are video courses on your yoga. I don't know if you've noticed, but if you're online like I am every day right now, there's a huge uptick in advertisement around any courses online. All of the marketing courses are on discount. Teachable's doing special seminars. No one's saying anything about COVID-19, but they're just talking a whole bunch about doing a course right now because they're banking on people who are stuck at home. Now will be the time that they'll do a course. I don't know what their sales are looking like or if that's working, but what I would suggest is that making video courses is not overly difficult. The technical side of it doesn't have to be perfect because you can do it later even to fix it up better. But right now would be a good time where you could help bolster sort of your longer term value by building video courses. So a simple thing to do would be just every time you do an online yoga class, so let's say like once a day, write down after the class, like what was something in this class that I talked about or that somebody needed, or a correction that I gave somebody, or like what's one sort of detail that I can take from this, and then make a miniature video course on that. And to be really clear, keep these simple. And I would highly recommend as well that you keep them singular in nature. So even one single yoga posture, let's use the most stereotypical posture of all time, downward facing dog. I mean, there are at least 20 things you could say about downward facing dog if you're going to get really, really detailed. If you try to say all 20 of those things in a course on how to do, like a video on how to do downward facing dog, then you're going to have a 25-minute long video and nobody's going to watch it. So just pick your subject matter. I'm going to do a video on how to properly do downward facing dog. Write down your macro bullet points. Here are the most important elements. So alignment, breathing, advanced alignment, transition, let's say. So there's the 4 subjects. And then now you have 4 videos, and then plan out what you're going to say and film and demo, and boom, there you go, and put it up. If you want to ultra simplify this and have some more public content, run these courses as live videos. So just jump on. You have to be organized ahead of time to do that. Just jump on your Facebook, jump on your Instagram, and just be like, yo, today I'm teaching you guys how to properly do downward facing dog for your home practice. Number 1 is how to do proper alignment. Here are the 10 points you need to know. Boom, 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 boom. Show it. Leave your comments down below. Done. And then you can download that later. Anyways, video courses, huge amount of value because they're valuable now for people when you can't help them with alignment in the same way. You can't help them with, that teacher interaction at the highest level, like when you can when they're there personally with you. So as a result, instead, you can give them these video courses. And then in the long run, these things are just going to keep gaining value because you're going to be able to use them over and over and over as we go. Okay, that's what I've got on my quick stuff for today. I'm going to jump onto your questions, but I've got a couple of housekeeping things I just want to bring up really quick. We've had a lot of requests for joining the Yogapreneur Collective, our private group. So if you're interested in that, yes, you can join. It's open to any class-based business, but we primarily focus on yoga studios. If you're not sure if it's for you and you want more information, we do a free strategy session a couple times a week. Just go to joshbiro.com. It's right on the homepage. Book your free strategy session, and you can jump on. We're going to break some things down, talk some yoga business, and I'll explain how the membership works. Pretty straightforward stuff. So just know that that is an option. Of course, these free webinars, we're also nesting on our website, and we're nesting them on our YouTube page. So go to Josh Biro on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. There's a playlist there, and we're adding all of these there as well. So that, can we recite the video title for Nomad Yoga Studio again? Yeah, sure, I can bring it back up, Val. Hang on one sec. So just joined. Awesome, thanks. Yeah, we're also doing our private webinars in there a couple of times a month where we're sort of deep diving and I'm bringing our pros in, and we have our private Facebook group in there. So anyways, if that's something that you think is going to help you as a resource, know that that's there. We have these nested on the Facebook page and on the YouTube page as well. And then of course, we've added some more of these. So this week we've got Wednesday and Friday are going to be free webinars as well. Smiley emojis. The comments are really funny here. So if you guys know anyone else that wants to jump on for the free webinars any small business really that you think would benefit from this. We just want people to survive this and feel strong on the other side. So go ahead and share away. And if you've been watching these last couple of ones, someone sent me a note yesterday and just said, hey, thanks. We really appreciate that you're doing these, which just totally fills my heart. I really love that, you guys. If you want to share the love a little bit more, jump on Google, leave us a review, and just say that we're awesome. That always goes a really, really long way. Okay, so enough with that. Let's jump in on some questions. I'm going to back up for a second, but really quick. I think Val was asking, can you recite the video title for Nomad Yoga Studio again? Val, I think this is what you mean. Just this, here, let me share my screen so we can see it. The title I had here was Now is the Time to Be Your Strongest. So we're trying to pull on the emotional and aspirational identity of what someone really wants to be in their highest image. Now is the time to be your strongest. So a lot of this, you don't have to state in a lot of this stuff so directly, like COVID-19 got you down, that sort of language. I don't think that's what you need to do, but you want to just make it hyper relevant to what it is that's actually going on right now. Yes, thanks. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, let's back up here. Terry, right in the beginning, excuse me, said video disasters. Terry, can you unmute yourself? What's up with video disasters? Are you still on here? Bottom left corner of your screen if you want to unmute.
Yep, here I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, it was just relative to recording on my iPhone and finding out that it didn't have enough space and losing all my photos and all that kind of stuff. So it didn't turn out very well. So my question would be, can you actually record on Zoom without having it interactive and then just send out a link for Zoom to customers?
Kind of. So the confusing thing for your customers with Zoom will be the link itself. So the link is for if someone's going to be on with you live in real time. But to answer your question, yes, you can record on Zoom and you can just record yourself. I actually do that sometimes, especially if I want to do screen sharing. If I want to like go back in and out of sharing my screen, I'll just go on Zoom, click record on my computer and film myself talking to myself on Zoom, which is super weird, but whatever. And then afterwards, you have it saved as an MP4 and then you upload it to wherever you want it to go. So in the case of a class, if you wanted to do it with Zoom, you could just record yourself teaching a class with Zoom. You can record it to your computer or to Zoom's cloud. Then you would take that MP4, either download it from the cloud or it's on your computer and upload it somewhere else where they're going to watch it. And that's what you would send them. That somewhere else in its simplest form is like a free YouTube channel. That's it. And if you want to have it subtly protected, but not too complicated, just make it unlisted on YouTube. That way it can't show up in search or anything like that. But if you send them the link, you don't have to do anything special. They can then see and watch the video.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
yeah,
I think that would do it.
Yeah, that'll be a good start. The other thing to consider, Terry, you could try this. I would probably do like a practice one, is if you go on YouTube, YouTube or Vimeo, what else would you use? Either one of them. It depends on if you can live stream. Oh, Facebook, excuse me, would be the other thing to do. So if we're looking for a really simple setup and you don't have space on your devices and we're worried about that, anything that you can live stream on, you can also live stream to unlisted, so that again, it's like, it's not on your public page, but because it's, as long as your internet's strong, because it's going to the live stream straight to that platform, it'll be automatically saved there afterwards. So it doesn't need to be saved on your phone or anything. So there's no uploading and downloading. Now, sometimes the image quality and stuff is not quite as awesome when you do that, but honestly, it's probably more than good enough for what we're talking about. Terry, do you have a private Facebook group?
No, my crowd is mostly people over 50. So they're just not on there. I mean, some of them are, but they're just not on there. But I do have YouTube. I have done some YouTube stuff before, but it's mostly been off my phone and then uploaded onto YouTube. So,
sure.
And obviously iPhone, yeah, I know what you're saying. The imagery is that much better. But yeah, I need something that I can directly go to. And I
Yeah.
think yeah. So I didn't know that you could do that actually on YouTube.
Yeah, it sounds like YouTube is going to be a good solution for you. The reason I bring Facebook in, and this is maybe so then outside of your, but well, first off, 50 plus is the fastest growing segment of Facebook, so there might be more than you think. But besides that, if you have, for any of you guys who are like pivoting and solving right now, and you want an ultra simple option, if you have a private Facebook group that you would put your members in, so you have to send an email and say like, hey, ask to join this group, then you can go live in that group. Like I go live in my group a few times a week, and the other coaches go live in my group, and even some of our people go live in our group, and then it's just automatically saved there. So hypothetically, you could make a private Facebook group where you have to approve people to be into it. So that would be your members saying, yep, I'm in. You approve them, and then you could just go live in that Facebook group. That's it, and that's where your videos exist. And then you don't even nest them anywhere else. You don't do anything on your website, nothing. All you do is organize the Facebook group, because you can make units in a Facebook group. So you can say like, these videos are all my yin classes. That's like, in terms of like the most ultra low tech, simple, one and done situation, that might be close to the as best as it's going to get, sort of thing. Okay, awesome. Rocking the Zoom classes, C6, love it. Online studio yesterday with FitGrid. Oh, good, we got some FitGrid coming in there. FitGrid, for those of you guys who don't use them or don't know, is a communication platform, but they made a big pivot and they're able to hook your mind body with Zoom through FitGrid. So they're a good option. They do have a 30-day trial. If you're in the Yogapreneur Collective, NT, who is one of the co-founders and owners of FitGrid, is going to be on our call tomorrow as well, running through exactly how this integration works in case you're using it. And those of you who are new on the calls right now, the other thing that we've been talking about with FitGrid is that it allows customer to teacher communication through their platform. So it's not like you give your teachers the email of your customers or anything, but it would say that, hey, if it's the first time that Kristen has taken my yoga class, it would let me know, and I could send her a personal email afterwards really quickly. So that's powerful in general. Right now at this moment in time could be like 10x powerful, because our communications have changed, and a lot of our automated communications that we're sending out through like Frederick and Brambot and whatever else might be turned off because they're not exactly relevant in the same way. So something to consider there. Interested to hear about the FitGrid Zoom integration and how anybody is using Spotify or an alternative playlist source. Yeah, Rick, what I've seen is that people are using their Spotify playlist, and then they're actually sending out the playlist to their clients so that they can get the playlist on their own Spotify and listen to it in real time, just for a sound quality thing. Because if I'm like playing music in the background, it's never going to sound as awesome for you guys. So that's one of the things that's been happening. If music is a big piece of the puzzle for you, obviously, you can send the playlist out ahead of time. Yo, this is the playlist that we're going to be going, and they can like actually kind of turn your sound down, just hear enough for the voice, and have their own playlist going as well if they want their music to be more bumping. Maria, have you got any more comments on that specifically?
Yeah. Yep, that's exactly what we're doing. The couple of things that I would make note of is that if you're teaching a class where you're demonstrating a move, a posture, an exercise, I would say it's beneficial to say the verbal instruction right up close, just like this, then move back and show the move without saying it, so that the verbal words are clear. And if you back way up and are doing something, they're not gonna be able to hear the words quite as well. And then the other thing we're doing is we are recording the classes on Zoom, then uploading to Vimeo. And so we will put the curated playlist in the class description on Vimeo, a link to it, so they can go back and rewatch, and then they know what music to go with it.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I think for a lot of the classes, especially IHP, but any of your power flow stuff as well, or like a yin class, a lot of the classes where like the mood of the class has to be really set up. One of the things is, if we can't make the sound quality on a recording hyper awesome, somehow give them access to it so that when they watch it again at home, they can blast the music as loud as they would like as well. This would also be, for those of you who have access to it still, a good excuse for you to buy a microphone, such as a lapel mic that just clips on your shirt, or I use a Yeti mic. I've got it packed up. It's not here. Or even if you have AirPods, anything like that, just so that if you're talking and you're further away, you can see how the sound changes now because I'm further away, but you might need to back up to be able to frame the shot correctly, right? So if you have that mic, it's going to pick up your voice. So you could have your music playing, but it's a little bit more backgroundy. Your voice is nice and clear when you're talking, and then you're sending them the playlist for afterwards. So that would be one of the ways that we could.
Josh, there is another fix, could I just say, for music?
Yeah, please.
There's a way to attach your music at Zoom, and you go into Zoom and you have to have your headphones. You Bluetooth the headphones on Zoom on your device, and it has to be a laptop. It won't work on the phone. And then you go into Zoom and you can go into the settings and you can set to laptop noise only, and then you can play your music. But the experience I have with that, the older the laptop, the more choppy the music. The newer the laptop, it's smooth. Now it works okay for high HP, but you can't have a loud volume, because if you do, you can't hear yourself.
Right.
So we're looking at a workaround to add a separate sound card. On my Mac, which is about 2 years old, it works great, but the music isn't loud, but it's loud enough to be acceptable.
For sure.
So I just wanted to add that for you.
Thanks, TJ, for adding that in, because that's totally good information. Yeah, and Zoom. So one of the things, just a like really practical thing, you guys, was just talking about here, is there's Zoom that we're on right now in the controls, but this is the meeting of Zoom. There are also the setting controls of your Zoom account. So you go to zoom.us and go into the settings, and there's all sorts of things that you can toggle on and off, and they've got a huge help suite there as well. So one of the things that you can toggle on and off is, does the sound from your computer get picked up by Zoom or not? That's what we're kind of talking about here. So yeah, you can toggle that on, and then that's cool. I might have to play with that and just see if we can't protect that a little bit, perfect that a little bit as well. Thanks for bringing that in there. Okay, so oh, one of the things, Beak Pass in Pasadena there, Val, was saying that the Zoom links from FitGrid seem so because they end up going into the promotions folder and they're not getting them. Some never got them. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so one of the things, email 101 here, you guys. Your email sending address has, this is not the correct technical language, but it has like good street cred based on its previous actions. So if you send an email to someone and they have previously opened it, they have dragged it into their inbox, they have added you to their contact list, they have clicked on an email, that tells the internet ether gods that you have good street cred with email, and it's going to make more emails deliver better for you. So there's like crash course email deliverability 101, which means if you change the system that you're sending emails from, it might not have any negativity, but it's just lacking street cred. So then depending on the email service that other people use and how strong their filters are turned on or off, your emails may not arrive in the same way. This detail matters if you're doing something like starting to use FitGrid, because you might have to tell your members through your regular email, you're going to be getting an email from this email address, add it to your contact list, or make sure that you click and open it. Or if you didn't see it, it might have ended up in your spam folders or whatever else. Like, just put a little quick note out about that. And then it might also mean that just when you're first starting, the first time, you might additionally like post it in your private Facebook group, or just send a reminder email manually from your regular email address. Hey, just in case this didn't make it to you. And then in the first time that you do a meeting like this, during that, like we said, 10, 15 minutes before, where you're allowing more of the interaction point, you might say, hey guys, I know a couple of you guys have maybe missed the email with the links. It's because it probably ended up in your spam folder or something else. If that's a problem for you, let us know. What you need to do is pull us into your inbox, actually open the email, click on it, and add us to your contact list. Those are the things that are going to tell the email server that you want these emails and that we're not spam, sort of thing. So changing the system is where the complications are with that. Christy's asking, when, if anytime, are you thinking it's appropriate time to reduce our membership rates for this online only access to stuff so that people who are currently not members can opt in and pay? Then what do they pay? Yeah. Members are worth $100 per month. Seems to be steep for online only. Can we do pay what you can? What's fair for members? Empowering the community makes good business sense. Yeah, this is a recurring question that's coming up. Excuse me, a recurring question that's coming up, and an important one for us to keep revisiting as this sort of unfolds. My personal recommendation is up front, don't do anything. The value that you are offering is not just the yoga classes. That's been part of our theme for today. I really want this to hit hard, because if you're looking at it like, oh, I offer a yoga class in real time, and then now I'm just offering a yoga class online, and that's my only value, you're totally missing something. If that was true, they would have been doing free yoga classes on YouTube all along and wouldn't be paying you $100 a month, okay? So the reason, the value that you are offering is really, first, it's the perceived value. So the change that's happened here is that there are multiple things, I would call it your yoga experience, that's what we call it, that you have previously been offering. That's what your value is pegged at. Currently, because I can't physically come to your studio, I still will perceive the value to be high, but your yoga experience has got to shift. So consider, what is the yoga experience that I'm offering people? Considering, like we talked about today, people buy transformation, community, and status. So if you can keep the community connection, if you can make it more personalized, if you can make it more interactive, if you can make it more that they're connected to something bigger, that's where you're going to find that the perceived value stays high enough that it's okay. Other couple of things, people might still be working from home and making their full paycheck, so they will be happy to pay you your full amount. And then the final thing is, we keep talking about this, I'm going to call it the precipice calculation. I don't know what else to call it. X number of members paying you $1 amount versus less members, or less versus even more members paying you less money. There's a sweet spot. So it's when we hit this sweet spot, I'll explain it in more detail in a second, that's when we would pivot the price for memberships. So if I have 100 people paying me $100 a month, and I decide, I think that actually it's only $50 a month of value, so I drop those 100 people to 50, I go from 10 grand a month to 5 grand a month overnight. I kill my cash flow, and I might even keep all of those 100, but probably not. If people are going to cancel, do you think that it matters 100 versus 50? A little bit, but unless it's 100 versus 10, right? Unless we're talking about like Netflix level price, the thing that's going to keep them from canceling is not the price primarily. It's a part of it. It's not the major one. The major one is, are they doing something with you? If they are legitimately receiving value from you, if they are participating with you, if they are engaged with you, they will try to stay with you and not cancel. So that's actually your objective right now, engagement, more than anything else. If I practice twice a week and I go to your cocktail hour once a week and do a meditation class that you recorded once a week, I'm utilizing what you're offering and I'm happy to feel like I'm part of it. I'm not going to cancel. That's why we're saying instead have a downsell. When I go to cancel, because I'm like, yo, legitimately, I'm out of work. I don't have any money. I got to save everywhere I can. Have a downsell option. Then that's where I would have a lower price in terms of right now. Now, so the thing is, these 100 people, you could lose 25 of them and have 75 people paying you the 100 a month. You would still be ahead of having the whole 100 paying you $50 a month. You see my point? 5 grand to 7,500. So, but when those 2 points start to meet, when we're like, I'm getting so many cancellations that if it was a lower price, now I would start saving more people and my dollar amount would start to either grow or stay the same. That's when I would pivot. I predict that for most of you, you're not there yet, because even those of us and those of you who are just sort of starting in this right now, look to where else is ahead of you. California has been pretty locked down for a while. It's completely locked down right now. And I'm not saying look at what yoga studios in general are doing there, because a lot of them are doing some wonky shit, but I'm just saying they still aren't seeing like a lot of studios that are offering this value and en masse exodus in the same way just yet. So you've got a little bit of time. This move where you pivot and change your value offer in terms of the dollars is probably a few weeks out, depending on how long this lasts. So I would kind of like hold on as you go. Where you're going to see it, the speed bump here, you guys, that I'm seeing coming up is the end of the month and the first of the month. So like it's this next week and a half here where we've got to pay attention, because it's when suddenly bills are due, credit cards are due, all this shit's due, more people might get laid off. That's the moment where there's a speed bump and we've got to pay attention. But in terms of right now today, I wouldn't change that. The second piece of this question is, what do we do for like offering an online membership? This is going to sound weird, and you've just got to trust me on this one. What one person pays for a membership doesn't have to be congruent with what somebody else pays for a membership. You have people in your business right now that are paying $79, $89, $99, $109, $129, all getting the same membership because of when they purchased in. So in practice, we've already done this. All I'm suggesting is if you want to offer an online membership option, start prepping for it and just change the way that it looks so that people aren't comparing and contrasting what it is that's going on. So what I mean is you could start selling an online membership that's like an online intro pass. Hey, don't have a yoga membership and want to do our live online things, get 5 classes for $50. Then me as a member paying you $100 a month, I'm like, oh, that's a new person 5-class deal, not an unlimited pass paid monthly. They're in a different category. I don't compare them, and I don't feel like mine is devalued. So you can have that going on right now. Or even like our intro deal is get a month for $20. And then that's going to buy you, because things are moving so quick now. In a month from now, you're going to pivot again. When you need to upsell that person onto a membership, maybe it's your full price membership, or maybe it's a discounted one. I don't know, but honestly, we can't predict that yet. We're going to have to react to that in real time. So you can start selling online memberships, just frame it differently. The other thing you can do is the behind the scenes. I would definitely, every single person on this call, go do this today. Write it down. Put up your hand, hold it to the chest. I don't know, put your finger on your nose, whatever your special thing is. Josh, today I'm going to email every person on my list who was previously a member, who is not a member right now. I don't mean the people who've canceled since this started. I mean all of your lost clients for the last 10 years that you've been in business. Email those people and make them a special offer. Make them this intro offer we're talking about. Because those are the people that who knows who's going to come out of the woodwork. They're all stressed out too. They might not really have you tremendously on your radar, but at the same time, they want to do something and feel good. So if you have this value proposition, you make that video, you send it to them and you're like, yo, I know you haven't been in the studio for a while. I know that we're in quarantine right now. I know that there's a lot of these life stresses, but now is more important than ever for you to be your best. We're still on a mission to provide that for you. These are the things that we're offering. Because you haven't been to the studio, get your next month for $20. And who knows? You'll get, some people will bite on that. So like give them like a re-intro is kind of the concept here. Give them something special. Those are your best bet. If we're talking about where to get new sales right now, that's the group I'd focus on first, because they're already a vetted lead. They've already proven to you, they've already proven to you that they're interested in what you offer, and they understand your value from before and your community from before. Okay. Paolo is saying, only had a few cancellations on autopay. Yep, awesome. Mostly because they're considering a suspension. Yes. Paolo's saying FitGrid membership is expensive. Yeah, FitGrid has a few different levels. It honestly, expense is relative to you using it. How you use it right now makes a big difference. But FitGrid does have that 30-day free trial. So you could try it for 30 days. That might get you through a lot of this. The other thing that I would consider, you guys, is that as we've been talking about, like this last week, friggin' was so long, like seemed like an eternity of time. A month from now, things could be totally different. So sometimes you're going to make some business decisions right now to buy you enough time to continue your pivot. If this goes on longer than a month from now and FitGrid's not in the budget for you, cool, cancel it. But this might buy you enough time for you to get your website together, to get like a Vimeo account set up, to get your process ready to go for filming, so that it's easier for you to be able to maintain. So that would be where that could come in here. Okay, I'm gonna rip down to the bottom here really quick because we're at the end of our time and Jen and I have got to catch a plane. AirPods are really clear. Yes, thank you, definitely. Good clip-on mic model for iPhone X. Yes, Julie, Amazon's where you find it. It's the Samson. Jenna, could you write this in the chat? If I think you're still here. The Samson Go Mic, I believe is what it's called. So Samson, S-A-M-S-O-N, Go Mic, or Samson lapel mic for iPhone. It's the one that, it's a cheap one that I use. The quality is not the highest ever, but the price is not the highest ever. And it will plug into everything. It'll plug into your camera. It'll plug into your phone. It'll plug into your computer. So you can use it on all sorts of stuff. So that's a really good one that we can do here as well. Okay. Revenue stream needs to be matched to teachers' pay. If teachers are getting less per class, should be charging for full mentor. Think about optics here. Yes, I think optics are important, Melissa. And yes, I do feel like there is something to be said about this. What I would suggest with your teachers is you need to control the narrative we've been talking about. Same with your members. So controlling the narrative just means being the preemptive conversation. Right now, I would be spending more effort. I would set up a weekly teacher meeting, by the way, on Zoom, you guys. I'd keep your community, your internal community, even if you don't know what you're going to talk about yet, just keep that connection. So I'd set up a weekly teacher meeting, and I would be controlling the narrative by selling them, for lack of a better way to say it, on how they're doing positive duty to the people around. Because people don't join, you know, a yoga studio because they're like, I just want to do some stretching postures, or excuse me, and people don't go to a yoga teacher training because they think this is the best way for me to make millions of dollars. Like, that's not their primary objective. And you guys as well, like most of us don't open a yoga studio because we're like, yep, I love business. You know, like that's not what we're doing. So communicate with them on that level. Communicate with them on the level that you're in this to help people, and now's when they need our help more than any time ever before, and they are leaning on us. I still want, and I as the owner want to take care of you the best way that I can, but we have to be real. This business has to survive on the other side as well. So this is the situation. So the optics, I think, become irrelevant if we get that right conversation going. Okay, I'm going to do two more here. Do you think value perception still applies if that stuff in the social hour, etc., is open to everyone, not just members? Yes. Kay asks, is our value proposition in this communication, does it still matter if it's open to everyone publicly versus if it's just for the members? 100% yes. I'm going to be honest with you guys. There's a few different ways to play this. And Jenna and I have sold our yoga studio, so we don't own a studio right now, so I can't say definitively, but there's a huge part of me that's like, if it was me, I would be doing members only class stuff and value, and then I would be doing a whole shit ton of free stuff. I would be all over social media free stuff right now, just to get as many people interacting with us. And this is going to be on the long run showing, like, when this went down, you're never going to have to say this. You'll just do it through demonstration. When this shit went down, this was the place that was the party that had stuff going on, that was helping people, that was offering this, that was engaging the community, and then there was everybody else. That's what I would be going for. So I think that the value proposition is actually even more important if you're going to do it publicly. And then if you're talking about eventually selling people onto a membership right now under this new sort of thing that we're doing, then you need that value proposition to be there for people. Okay. Jenna put the link in there. Okay. Mic link, good. Rode Lyris Go Compact, yes. Samson, bought for iPhone, yes. Good. Okay. All right, my friends, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Go leave me that Google review if you think this has been awesome and helpful for you. Go save the world as you are right now, because quite seriously, there's a lot of people depending on your leadership as a business owner. Remember, business leadership is the most important leadership of our time. Much love. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.